There's just this excitement about watching a K-drama on air. You are filled with questions of what comes next, how things will be resolved, what secrets will be revealed, and on top of it all, how the series ends. Yet, there are some K-dramas where you don't have to wait to see the ending, for they were revealed from the very beginning, out in plain sight. You didn't spot them? No worries, because today, we are counting down K-drama endings you probably didn't realize were already revealed. Number 1. Hotel de Luna. Released in 2019, Hotel de Luna was a huge hit, both within and outside of Korea. It tells the tale of badass and fierce Jang Man-wol, who, due to having committed a huge sin 1,000 years ago, is now stuck on Earth, managing a guest house for the dead. By her side is Gu Chan-sung, an honest, perfectionist man who ended up in the same guest house through a prior agreement. Overall, Hotel de Luna delivers tears and laughter alike, and the chemistry between actress IU and Yo Jin-gu was just top-notch. You'd also mourn over the side characters, feel for them, and be unwilling to part with them. Still, everything comes to an end, and we were just bawling our eyes out seeing the guest house family leave one by one, before it's just Chan-sung, sending off his lover to the afterlife. There's a hopeful scene where they're reunited, but according to the Hong sisters, aka the writers of the show, this is just Chan-sung imagining an ideal possible future. Speaking of the Hong sisters, did you know they also penned My Girlfriend is a Gumiho, a series with Lee Sung-gi and Shin Mina, released a whopping 11 years ago? Did you also know that way back then, the ending of Hotel de Luna had already been decided? In particular, Dae-woong, the male lead of My Girlfriend is a Gumiho, had a line like this: "You are the hero Man-wol, full moon, while he, also a hero, is Shin-wol, half moon. The moon is the symbol of love between the two. The girl used to be the full moon, but had given it all to her half moon and disappeared. This is a sad story about a guy, left alone in the end." And we had the exact same ending, didn't we? Chan-sung was left alone after his Man-wol disappeared, and the story we dearly loved was apparently a decade old. Number 2. Youth of May. Leaving the mystical world of Hotel de Luna, we now come back to the real world via Youth of May, which was based on true Korean historical events. In the series, we follow the footsteps of Myung-hee, a struggling yet strong nurse, who wanted to go to Germany to study but didn't have enough for a plane ticket. She then went on a blind date in place of her best friend in exchange for money, and there she met Hee-tae, a determined medical student with issues of his own. Like most K-dramas, the two soon fall in love, giving way to a melancholic, nostalgic, and tragic love story. Yes, tragic. You heard that right. Despite having overcome many difficulties to finally join hands, our favorite couple didn't get to be together, for tragedy befell, and the South Korean military came to raid their city. Myung-hee died from a gunshot wound, leaving Hee-tae in pain with memories of her, the body of his beloved never found. And as the audience, we cried buckets of tears and tissues. But was Myung-hee's body never found? Winding back to the very, very beginning, and you may see a scene where a skeleton was dug up from the ground, with one of its possessions being a pocket watch. Yes, this is the remains of our female lead, cold and alone under the ground for 41 years. The ending where Myung-hee died had been sitting right there, in front of our eyes the entire time. Number 3. Squid Game. Ah, the famous Squid Game. Its popularity was just unprecedented. As Netflix's biggest series debut worldwide, this Korean drama had become a global sensation, and practically everyone had heard of it. The premise is relatively simple. It's a survival game where participants compete to get money, at the cost of their life. One mistake means certain death, and thus, through the series, we get to see the true human nature and the sad reality of society. At the very end, our protagonist emerged victoriously, found out the mastermind behind the game, took home the money, and may come back for season 2. But was this ending previously revealed? The answer is yes, and if you squint, you may notice hints for the fates of many major characters, revealed from the very beginning. Let's first tackle the main character Gi-hoon. Right off the bat, we had seen him win 4.56 million won from horse racing. Later, he became player number 456, and had won 4.56 billion won in the end. That's an obvious spoiler. Then let's move on to our sort of antagonist Sang-woo, a close friend of Gi-hoon. Bankrupted and desperate, he's shown to have attempted to drown himself in water. And his fate? Committing suicide, once again in water, so that Gi-hoon can get the money. Even the female lead, Se-byuk, also had her end reflected in her past actions. To threaten a dealer, she held a knife to his neck and was slitted in the throat before the final round. Our beloved Ali, who had stolen from his master out of desperation, had his marble stolen by a man he also called master. And the gangster guy Doksu, he jumped off a bridge to make a quick escape, only to fall down the glass bridge later on. All of this means that, through clever storytelling, it seems that Squid Game had managed to slip in quite the amount of spoilers right under our eyes. Number 4. Vagabond. Finally, let's approach the infamous ending of the action series Vagabond, which had created quite the buzz among K-drama viewers since 2019. If you haven't watched the series, well, give it a try. It has Lee Seung-gi, Suzy, and Shin Seung-rok, and you really can't go wrong with a cast like that. For starters, the story began when Cha Dal-gun, the male lead, lost his nephew in a plane crash. Just before the planes took off, though, the nephew sent Dal-gun an encouraging video, and a man on the plane happened to be recorded. Heartbroken at his nephew's death, Dal-gun constantly watched the video and realized that there's something fishy with the man. He was supposed to be among the dead passengers, and yet Dal-gun was certain that he spotted the man, very much alive. He then set out to find the truth behind the tragic accident, and was forced to become partners with our female lead Go Ha-ri during this quest. And the deeper they investigated, the scarier the truth turned out to be. Vagabond, while packed with action and political schemings, was not too much of a heavy watch. Along its course, we are also provided with interesting characters, humor, and of course, the blossoming chemistry between the main leads. It was surely a wild run though, because everything we are led to believe turned out to be false, and the ending we finally got to see is just the very beginning of the series put into perspective. While it's an open end with too many loose threads to tie, we have to admit, it was pretty brilliant. How showing the exact same scene at 2 different marks in the series can provide such different revelations. Curious to know what those revelations are? Well, perhaps you should start watching. And while this is the end of the list, there's actually 2 similar cases in K-drama where the end and the beginning are closely tied. In Women of Dignity, for example, we are shown the end results before even getting to know the characters. And the rest of this series are just events leading up to that end. Meanwhile, on the other side of the spectrum is Signal, where the ending is the beginning, just as the beginning is the end. So if you want some convoluted time loops theories and investigation packed into one drama, you know where to head. Foreshadowing is not that uncommon in media, but it's nevertheless interesting when we spot them, especially in K-dramas. Did you notice any of these revealed endings? And how do you feel about this kind of storytelling? Are there any other K-dramas we missed where this tactic was also applied? Feel free to let us know in the comment section. And if you want more videos like this, like, share, and subscribe to bbalidrama. We'll come back soon. See ya!